this is Wakeangel2K1 bringing you the third figure that resulted from my DeviantArt ban poll. It is Percy the Bandicoot. Yes, I found out she was a bandicoot after looking her up on the Sonic Wiki. How about that? Okay, so Percy's first appearance was of course in the Sonic Boom video game, though she has been on the cartoon series a few times. I believe the first episode she appeared in was the Justin Bieber one, where she was standing in the autograph line. She also later appeared in the crowd scene in the concert, and her model was reused about 4 times. This is actually a common practice in cartoons, especially those made in CGI or in Flash. They do it all the time in My Little Pony. Of course, this was noticed by the fan community. I could totally see Styx saying that. Of course, she also made appearances later, like with the Knuckles Buckethead episode. This actually kind of proves that there's actually more than one girl that looks like Percy because, you know, this isn't just reusing models over and over. This is literally 2 Percys. I'm guessing Percy comes from a big family and she's kind of like Nurse Joy and Officer Jenny from the Pokemon series, and that there's just a whole bunch of cousins and sisters and stuff that look exactly like. Of course, the proper Percy did make an appearance in that episode where her bike broke and Amy got all jealous as everyone was trying to impress her, and then the workshop caught fire because of a malfunctioning security system, and it turned out she actually kind of liked Tails because he was handy. But, you know, that's enough about talking about the character's appearances in the various media. Let's actually make the toy of her. Alright, so this was my first experiment ever making a custom using the Tomy Sonic Boom figures. In this case, Styx. The jungle war paint version because I couldn't find the single carded Styx. Same as the Jazzwares figure, I stuck her in boiling water to soften her up and then pulled apart all of her various joints. The mushroom caps, as you can see, are a radically different shape on this version of the figure. So different that they're like big and like square. They don't have that mushroom shape that the Jazzwares figures had. These are definitely the kinds of caps that you will not be able to just push in once you're done. There's a completely different reassembly technique needed here, and I will discuss it at length a little bit later. First, I wanted to talk about the head. Remember back when I proposed my ideal Sonic figure with the solid face, while the back of the head would be as hollow as possible to save on weight and prevent it from becoming back heavy? Well, it seems that Tomy actually did exactly that. With the Styx figure, I noticed that the face part of the figure was completely solid plastic, while her hair, a much larger element that goes pretty far behind her, is almost completely hollow, with as much empty space in there as possible. That's what prevents the figure from becoming too back heavy, and I kinda like that. Of course, I did have to cut those pigtails off anyway, and that's when I realized that the only way I was going to be able to customize the head and then put it back on the body would be to separate it along the seam and then work on the 2 halves. So on the back, I sculpted her hair. It has 6 points, just like Sonic, and on the front, I sculpted her bangs. I then repainted them. You notice her color scheme is actually very similar to Blaze's. She's lilac with darker purple tips on the ends of her hair, and you know what? She's actually kind of a little bit like Blaze. She has a slightly abrasive personality, is dedicated to her duty of protecting the village. Yeah, she's kind of like a little bit of Blaze. So already she's appealing to me on a subconscious level. Although I will note that I wish I would have been able to sculpt her hair hollow, because now that her hair is solid, it does make the figure almost back heavy. Almost. She can still stand straight without having to lean forward, but it's very close. Just the slightest push back and beyond the straight standing point, and she goes right over. The Styx figure had a tiny bit more leeway in that regard. Okay, so now about the reassembly. Here's her body. It's in 2 halves. That little thingy on the left is her hips, and then the torso is up there. As you can see, there's also a seam that goes down the middle, and that is how you put the arms and legs back in, because you'll never be able to push those giant mushroom caps back to the little holes, but by separating the 2 halves, you can, slot them back in place and then close it around them, like clips. Of course, I had to do the sculpting on painting on them first before I would do that, which includes the long, skinny little bandicoot tail, painted like with the jeans and the lilac tail, and then the upper body with that hoodie, which it is either purely decorative as a hood or made of the stretchiest material known to man in order to fit around a typical Sonic character's head. Because there's no way that that hood actually fits if it's made out of, you know, the kind of fabric that we use. Of course, then I would also have to make the legs. Now, Percy is as tall as Sonic, and Styx is noticeably shorter because Tomy is actually pretty good with scale. Fortunately, a solution presented itself in redesigning the shoes. These are actually the ends of Styx's pigtails, which I cut off and then reattached to the tops of the shoes after putting on some Sculpey around them to make them look like those big old Ugg boots that Percy likes to wear. Then I reattached the legs I had cut off to the top of them, and that had the effect of making Percy's Ugg boots while simultaneously lengthening her legs to the same length as Sonic, making the figure the same height. That is such a nice little thing that works out. The arms are a boring part of the custom. They are just repainted. Yeah, nothing special here. I did cheat a little bit in that, you know, because Styx's gloves and her armbands are asymmetrical while Percy's are. But I just painted them. No big deal. Okay, now here's a funny thing. Unlike most customs, reassembly isn't the end. As you can see, there is now a big, terrifying hole going through Percy's head. That's because, that's the round scar left behind by cutting off Styx's pigtails. Of course, this was fortunate in that Percy happens to wear a hairband, so I simply had to sculpt that hairband over the gap in her head. So it covers the hole. And the rest of the seam. So, yay! Hopefully I won't ever have to make a figure that doesn't have a hairband. Yeah, so that's the one thing. It's a good thing that epoxy sculpt doesn't need to be heated in order to cure it, because that would have ruined the paint job. And as you can see, I also sculpted that little wrench that she always keeps strapped to her thigh because it's, part of her look. And, that's it. That's Percy the Bandicoot. She's now ready to join my Sonic Boom toy collection and make the Amy figure jealous as Sonic and Knuckles try to vie for her affections. Maybe I should have put Styx screeching and running away. Although I'm not sure. Yeah, no, that actually happened. I don't know. I still maintain that maybe Styx freaked out and ran away from Percy because she thinks that there's like rampaging hordes of Percy clones and she's terrified of her. Like, the clones are gonna get me. No, they'll assimilate me. They need me for biomass to make more clones. Okay, I've had way too much fun with this. There will be another figure from my fan poll next month. Next month will be the SWAT cats, but I got more commissions to do, so let's get back to those next time.